Hey guys! So today we were going to discuss about the feminist stylistics.
Yes, you heard that right. We are going to discuss what is feminist stylistics. But before we proceed, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Royer Cañere.
I am Cabo Juris
And we are from BC English 3 Counselor.
So what is feminist stylistics? Feminist stylistics is a theoretical framework that examines the ways in which language is used to represent gender in literature. So this approach is grounded in feminist theory, which seeks to challenge the traditional ideas of gender and promote gender equality. According to Sarah Mills, feminist stylistics focuses on the discourse on injustice and the bad portrayal of women shown in literary text, pictures, photographs, and news. So feminist stylistics can be defined as the sub-branch of stylistics, which aims to account for the way in which gender concerns are linguistically encoded in text, and which attempts to do so by employing some of the frameworks and model pertaining in the stylistics toolkit. Stylistics is a field of study that examines how language can reflect, reinforce, or challenge gender stereotypes. It involves analyzing text to identify linguistic patterns that may favor or disadvantage one gender over another. So by understanding these patterns, we can gain insights into how language shapes our perceptions and attitudes towards gender. For example, feminist stylistics might examine how female characters are often described in terms of their appearance, while male characters are described by their actions. And this can suggest a subtle bias in the text that reinforces traditional gender rules.
So, feminists often hold the view that women are subjected to oppression and discrimination that men do not face. They believe that this inequality is prevalent in both personal and in institutional settings. Furthermore, feminists argue that societal expectations and norms related to gender can limit the opportunities and experiences of women. In essence, they contend that there is a systematic imbalance between men and women that is deeply ingrained in societal structures and attitudes. So, how it differs from other linguistic approaches? So, feminist stylistics distinguishes itself from other linguistic approaches by its specific focus on gender. While other approaches may touch on gender-related issues, feminist stylistics delves into how language constructs and reinforces gender rules and stereotypes. Unlike structuralism, which examines language as a system of rules, feminist stylistics focuses on how these rules can perpetuate gender biases. Similarly, generative grammar, which focuses on the underlying rules of language, is used by feminist stylistics to examine how these rules can create and maintain gendered meanings. Moreover, pragmatics, which studies language use in context, is employed by the feminist stylistics to analyze how language can be used to create and maintain gendered power dynamics. In essence, feminist stylistics is a specialized branch of linguistics that combines linguistic theories with feminist perspectives to understand the role of language in gender inequality.
Historical context of feminist stylistics. So feminist linguistics emerged in the 1970s as part of the broader feminist movement. This period saw a surge of interest in understanding how language perpetuated gender inequality and marginalized women. Early pioneers like Robin Lakoff and Dale Spender conducted groundbreaking research on how language reinforced gender stereotypes and limited women's opportunities. So over time, feminist stylistics has evolved to address a wider range of issues. It has incorporated concepts from intersectionality, queer theory, and post-colonial feminism. It also allowing for a more nuanced understanding of gender intersects with other social categories like race, class, sexuality, and nationality. Next, we will move to the key concepts in feminist stylistics. First is the gender social construct. So feminist stylistics views gender as a social creation, not a biological fact. This means that gender rules and expectations are learned and shaped by cultural and societal factors. Second, language and power. So language is not just a tool for communication. It can also be a tool for maintaining power structures. So feminist stylistics examines how language can be used to enforce or challenge existing power imbalances between men and women. Lastly, stereotypes and representation. So feminist stylistics analyzes how stereotypes about gender are perpetuated or challenged through language. It also examines how women are represented in text, and these representations can affect our understanding of gender.
So now, let's move forward to the linguistic features of feminist stylistics. First, the lexical choices. So, feminist stylistics examines the specific words and phrases used in text. These choices can reveal underlying gender biases, such as the use of gender-specific terms or the objectification of women. Second is the syntactic patterns. So, the structure of sentences can also reveal gender biases. For example, the use of passive voice or the replacement of subjects and objects can suggest power imbalances or unequal relationships. Lastly is discourse analysis. Feminist stylistics analyzes how language is used in broader social contexts. This includes examining the ways in which language can be used to create and maintain gendered power dynamics, or to challenge existing stereotypes. So, by analyzing these linguistic features, feminist stylistics can provide valuable insights into the ways in which language reinforces or challenges gender inequality. So now, let's move forward to what are the contributions of feminist stylistics. First, raising awareness of gender bias. Feminist stylistics has played a crucial role in highlighting the ways in which language can perpetuate gender bias and reinforce harmful stereotypes. By analyzing text and identifying linguistic patterns, feminist stylistics has helped to raise awareness of these issues and encourage critical thinking about language and gender. Second, challenging linguistic norms. Feminist stylistics has challenged traditional linguistic norms that have marginalized women and reinforced gender inequality. By identifying and critiquing these norms, feminist stylistics has contributed to the development of more inclusive and equitable language practices. So lastly is empowering women. By providing tools and frameworks for analyzing language and gender, feminist stylistics has empowered women to challenge discriminatory language and to advocate for more equitable representation in language and culture.
And now, we have the limitations of feminist stylistics. First, we have the overemphasis on language. So while language is a powerful tool for shaping and reinforcing gender norms, it is important to recognize that it is not the only factor that contributes to gender inequality. Feminist stylistics may sometimes overemphasize the role of language while neglecting other social and cultural factors that influence gender relations. So the second limitation is the Western-centric perspective. So much of the research in the feminist stylistics has been conducted within Western context, which can limit its applicability to other cultures and societies. So the Western-centric perspective may fail to capture the nuances of gender expression and representation in non-Western contexts. The third is the limited scope. So feminist stylistics primarily focuses on written text, which may exclude other forms of communication, such as spoken language, visual media, and nonverbal cues. So this limited scope can hinder a comprehensive understanding of how gender is constructed and represented in various forms of communication. And now, let's analyze Maria Clara from Noli Me Tangere using the lens of feminist stylistics. So Maria Clara is a complex character in Noli Me Tangere, embodying both traditional Filipino values and the limitations imposed on women in a patriarchal society. A feminist stylistic analysis of Maria Clara can reveal the ways in which her character reinforces and challenges gender stereotypes. In traditional Filipino values, Maria Clara is often portrayed as the ideal Filipino woman, embodying traditional values of modesty, piety, and submission. She is also expected to marry a wealthy man, fulfill her role as a wife and mother, and uphold the honor of her family. So this portrayal reinforces the patriarchal ideal of women as passive and submissive.
So, Maria Clara, despite her beauty and intelligence, Maria Clara's agency is severely limited by societal expectations and patriarchal control. She is unable to choose her own husband, and her life is largely determined by the desires of her family and the powerful figures around her. These limitations highlights the ways in which women's choices and opportunities were constrained in the colonial era. While Maria Clara is ultimately a victim of circumstance, her character also has subversive potential. Her love for Ibarra, a man from a lower social class, challenges traditional social norms and expectations. Her defiance of her family's wishes and her willingness to sacrifice for her beliefs suggest a hidden strength and determination.